Hey, what's going on, guys? It is your good friend Matt back again here today at the only place that we always can be. And as you know, that is Matt's Wrestling Collectibles right here on YouTube. Today, as the title says, we're jumping right into it. We've got new pickups on the figures here today for episode number 23. We're going to start this one off with a bang, with a little bit of a blast from the past, something that I needed to add to the collection to start another collection within the collection. And that is going to be off the rip. We've got Nikki Cross from Elite 66. This is obviously from her Sanity, faction. It was her, Eric Young. Actually, I don't even know who else was in that faction. We had Eric Young and, it's a good question. Who was in that faction? Let me know in the comments below. I know it was Nikki Cross. I know we had Eric Young in there. I cannot think of the other two. I think it was one or two people that were in that faction at the time. That was kind of a little bit of a time when I wasn't really collecting. I wasn't really doing much with the wrestling figures, as I've told everybody, from Elite Series like 45 all the way up until about Elite Series, I think it was like 82 or 80, something like that. I missed out on like 40 series of collecting. I was completely out of it, wasn't doing it, wasn't interested in it. So, might need a little bit of info on that. Drop that down in the comments below if you do know. But yeah, we do have Nikki Cross coming out of her Sanity faction look here in Elite 66. Really happy to get this figure. Excited to get this figure. Had to add it to the collection. And now we're working on the Eric Young and I guess whoever else that they may have made the figures of in that time. So I do know we do have the Eric Young Elite. It is out there. It will be coming in very soon, actually, as a matter of fact. Extremely soon. Sooner than soon. Hopefully before Thanksgiving it will be here. But we do have Nikki Cross today to start off that faction. Another faction being built in the collection of Matt's Wrestling Collectibles. But let's go into it a little bit here. And the reason why we do enjoy this as much as we do, it is always the attires that make everything the best, in my opinion. Attires, accessories, very much the key to a figure. I mean, you can make somebody look just like they look, but if they don't have the accessories, if they don't have the stuff to go with it, what's the purpose, right? Well, with this one here, as you can see today, the pants all the way right up into the attire here, the outfit, the jacket, the buckle, the zipper, the detail in the hood to the glasses to the, to the face mask. And I'll give you guys a nice close-up look there. I mean, this is just a great figure. I really do like it. Again, I think it's probably the only Nikki Cross that I'll ever need as an Elite. I am going to get the Almost a Superhero Nikki Cross very soon. I believe that was in a basic line, but we'll probably add that to the collection sooner than later. And, just a great one to add to the rest of them there. But we'll give you a side view here. We've got Nikki Cross, obviously, on this side. Nice picture over there. We've also got her name on this side here. We go around the back. We get a picture of her in action in the attire that she is claimed to be wearing inside the package there. And, of course, we get the cross-sell on the back there. We get a little blurb on the back there. All that great stuff. And as well as this being a first-time-in-the-line figure, guys. So that is cool as well. Very happy to add any first-time-in-the-line figures to the collection. Some I have gotten rid of over time, just because it depends, I guess, if there's a much better figure made afterwards to the point where they're very much identical, but maybe there's just a few things that made it better. I may get rid of those first-time-in-the-line figures. It's kind of it's an up-in-the-air type thing. It's kind of like the first Rhea Ripley Elite that we ever got. It made me sell my Rhea Ripley first-time-in-the-line basic because there was just no reason to keep it. It was kind of too much of the same, but a little bit different. I think you guys know where I'm going with that. Up next, we get into the next figure on our Figure Pickups episode 23 here. And this one is, again, another controversial figure because at this time, again, we have talked about it so many times here. The re-release of figures. And this one right here being another re-release of a previous figure. And I don't know. Again, up in the air for me. I actually only purchased it for one reason. We'll get to that in a second here. But that video is coming soon. I know I keep telling you guys about it. We are going to make that Jakks Classic Superstars versus the Legends of Mattel lineup and kind of a who is better, what did better, where are we now type video, as well as we will be doing a video on re-releases. So stay tuned for that. It will be coming up soon. It will be in the near future, I promise. We will get to those. But right now, we've got to get to the Ultimate Warrior in the Legends series, Greatest Hits. This is an Elite as well. I always say that when I talk about the Legends figures, I'm always saying Elite. Sometimes people are like, oh, it's not an Elite, but they are Elites. It's just not the set Elite line. So there's any confusion with that. But I always consider these to be elites, obviously, because they are. And so whenever I'm talking about them, I'm like, hey, it's Elite Legends series, whatever, you know, and whatever. People are always like, I don't even know if we have Legends basics. I know we had some flashbacks. I know we've had some stuff mixed in, some Legend figures, but I don't know if we've received a basic Legends line, like a set line that's continued on. Obviously, not anything that's current. Maybe something that I missed in those series there, that little gap of time. But with this Ultimate Warrior, something I got to say to you guys, and a lot of you also watching this now that I'm talking about the Jakks Classic Superstars versus the Mattel Legends. When I was a kid, guys, and they showed the 1 of 5 Ultimate Warrior in this attire, oh my God, was I trying so hard to get that figure. Day in and day out, I'm trying to come up with some plan, some Master of the Universe plan on how I'm going to get that 1 of 5 Ultimate Warrior. I'm sitting there saying to myself, could you imagine having that in your possession, having that in your collection, and being able to say that only 4 other people in this world can share the experience that you're sharing right now? It's pretty crazy. It is very, very crazy. I know we've also had, I think there was a Ultimate Warrior that came out a while back. I think it was like a 1 of 1 or something. I don't even know. There's so many different ones. These 1 of 3,000s, 5,000s, 1 of 100s, 1 of 500s. There's so many different things. But with this Warrior, that 1 of 5, it was just such a, how am I going to get this? How am I going to eventually own this? Because at one point I did have the 1 of 100 Roddy Piper with the boxing gloves. We also had the 1 of 100 Ultimate Warrior New York Toy Fair. That was the 2004 New York Toy Fair, I believe. And, wanted the Terry Funk, never got my hands on the 1 of 100 Terry Funk, but in today's video we do have our hands on Terry Funk now. But with this, guys, the main reason why I purchased this, and as I was about to say, is only for the belt. I actually purchased this just for the belt. We are probably going to open this up. We're going to take the belt out. We're going to put the belt in with the rest of the loose belts that I have. This will be going up on MERCARI, as well as a whole set of this is actually going up on MERCARI. So not only do we have the Warrior going up on MERCARI without the belt, obviously there'll be a discount there, but we also do have the rest of this series, which is Terry Funk, Honky Tonk Man, and the British Bulldog. A whole set of those will be up on my MERCARI, and I was almost about to say Bruno Sammartino. It's actually kind of funny because he did get canceled out of this set, but he is still on the back of the package. We'll show you that in a minute. But with this Warrior, yeah, I just wanted the belt, wanted to get another color to add to the rest of those titles that we do need. There is still, I think, 2 that are escaping me at this time, evading me at this moment, I should say. I do need the yellow strapped Winged Eagle title, which I believe the only time they've ever made that title up till this point was with the Legends 6 Ultimate Warrior. Some people do say that I think it was the Hall of Champions, or it might have been one of those lines there that they did have the Ultimate Warrior, and I guess there was an ongoing variant of the white strap versus the, or I think it actually might have been the blue strap. Might have been the blue strap at that time. I think it was like that blue, light blue strap. Some people said that there were also a yellow strap that was maybe a variant or an on-running change, but there is no set evidence in that just yet. I'm still searching that, so maybe we'll find something along the lines there. I would prefer not to have to buy the Legends Series 6 Ultimate Warrior. Obviously, having the Amazon Ultimate Edition exclusive, kind of, I don't know, just kind of no reason to really get the Legends 6 at this point. Anyway, for me, as a lot of you know, as things go on, when figures are very similar, like I said previous in this video, I will get rid of certain ones to keep others, just because it's like you got so much space, you can only use so much. So try to have as much space as you can for the future figures that are coming out, and that's why this is not going to stay in the collection, but the belt will. And like I said, I mean, an amazing figure still. Ultimate Warrior, one of my favorites. When I was growing up, I always had that like top 5. And I'll never forget, after the first time I really started seeing the Ultimate Warrior, I was like, wow, you know, he's definitely in that top 5. And being a kid, I want to say that top 5 was probably like Ultimate Warrior, Brock Lesnar, John Cena. Probably at that time, definitely Stone Cold and The Rock were in there as well. So, you know, that was the top 5 then. Of course, it's changed a little bit over the years. It's a little different now, and with all good reasoning. But Ultimate Warrior, Greatest Hits, Legends, and we are going to have to take that belt out of there a little bit later. Check that out, and this will be up on the Matt's Wrestling Collectibles MERCARI. But up next, we're going to go into the British Bulldog here, and again, back to the Greatest Hits Legends series, and it's just another figure that I already had at one point. It's sad to say that I did have this original figure over the years, over time. You know, we've gotten rid of so much. Like I said, everything was gone, so we're kind of building back. So yet again, with these re-releases, these greatest hits, essentially in what the whole line is, this is where I say again, it's such a hit or miss for some people. As me being a lifelong collector, there's a part of me that says, well, maybe I would have been happier to chase it down, spend the extra money, and buy the original again to put back into my collection. But then there's that other part of me that says, well, it's probably better that we are getting these figures at an affordable cost. We can still kind of get our collections back to where they were. And to me, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Matt, it's just not the way it works. But in my mind, it's the way I see it working. If you have the original, it will always be worth more than this. And if the original was $150, and I'm just throwing numbers out there, let's just say this original Bulldog was going for $150 on eBay, sold listings, and this comes out. Now this is $22.99. That British Bulldog online, it goes from $150. Now they're selling for just under $100, about $100. But in time, guys, it's all going to go back up, because even though you can get this now, once this is off the shelf, again, it becomes, what do you want more? The one that was re-released or the original? And of course, if it was my choice, I would definitely be going for the originals. But with the fact that I'm trying to build this collection back up, get back to where we once were, these are a little bit easier to come across now, so I'm happy to put them in the collection. If in time I was to get a deal, as we know, we always have to get a deal. Shout out to the man Kyle Peterson, as he would say, if I was to get a deal in the future on one of these originals, I would probably wind up selling this one. So, but let's bring it up close to you there. We've got the British Bulldog as only he can look, with the short hair at this time in his career. Part of the Heart Foundation, of course, had his vest in there, as they do show, and that's one of the awesome things that I love about this figure. Can't wait to build up that full Heart Foundation and get it back up, and as another faction, yet again, added to the collection. But we've got British Bulldog there. We flip it over to the back. Like I said, guys, we did lose Bruno out of this set, but hopefully in the future, you know, we'll see him into another set, as far as that's what I've heard. I guess he's going to go into a normal Elite set and kind of be a flashback. I don't know if they're going to start doing that again. Maybe that'll become a new thing yet again, to start really seeing like real flashbacks in the series. I mean, I know we have had them, but I'd like to see like the real flashback figures. You know, that's kind of what I enjoyed more. And especially now, I don't think we get anything really on the packaging, you know, nothing that like signifies a flashback figure or anything of that sort. So definitely cool. Definitely glad to add these back to the collection again. But also too, as we go through these, we stick the Bulldog over there. One thing I will say about these figures being re-releases, there's always a minor difference. And it was kind of like with the Bruno Sammartino. So many people online, oh, this is crazy, it's another re-release, it's this, it's that. But it's not, because if they really are going to make him with those green trunks, I hate to break it to people in case they didn't know, the original has blue trunks. So as much as people want to say, oh, it's a re-release, it's this, it's that, I don't know. To me, if it's a different color, if there's a different outfit, if there's something different, then to me, it is not an exact replica of a re-release. At least that's my opinion. But again, to each their own. If you guys want, sound off in the comments. Tell me how you feel about these re-releases and the whole situation. Just, you know, what do you like or dislike about it? What I do like is stuff like this, and that is my man, Terry Funk, in the Greatest Hits series here. I am so happy to finally get this Terry Funk. I've got two other figures encapsulating the man, the Funkster. We've got his Coliseum collection that came with the Hulk Hogan in the 2-pack there. We do have him up there and displayed as well. So I really am happy to have that Terry Funk, very early years Terry Funk, earlier years Terry Funk, I should say, and a different attire, different almost kind of gimmick at that time. In a way, not maybe so much, but, you know, before we had that ECW Hardcore Legend, before we had the Texas Deathmatch King, right? You know, all these people want to throw all these accolades to him, which, you know, hey, they could go for days. I'm not going to stop them. I'm just going to agree. But with this figure, it finally gives me that, yeah, that's that Terry Funk, that ECW Funk, the Funkster that I know the most anyway, the one that I grew up watching in a lot of ways, in old DVDs that I was purchasing, VHSs, all kinds of stuff back in the day to watch old school footage, and definitely Terry Funk being one of the ones that I remember the most. I don't know if it was because he bled buckets or because he just kept finding a way to win even in those later years, but Terry Funk in this set, absolutely amazing. Love it. Give you guys a up-close personal view here. He comes with the ECW World Championship. I wish we could have gotten maybe a couple more accessories with him. I know it's definitely good. You know, I'm not saying maybe a couple more, but maybe a shirt. I would have been really happy to see a shirt on him. And I mean, you know, he's got his patented brand there that he's got in the, of course, like I said, the ECW World title. He's also got his red headband on. Wish we could have got a little bit of detail in that instead of just the red, but hey, you know, happy as that we just have it in general. But very excited for this figure. Very excited to add this to the collection. I was actually looking at one of these on eBay only a few months ago before this was even released or discussed or talked about. It was maybe even more than a few months ago at this point, maybe about 6 or 7 months ago. But I was going to buy him in the original Elite set that he came in, and I was so happy that they were re-releasing him. And again, you know, the almost same exact thing. I mean, this is almost spot on, other than probably, you know, the pinless joints and the I don't know what you want to call them, the double jointed elbows and stuff like that. So I definitely was happy to be able to grab this, and of course not having to spend that $70 to $80 mark to try to find him online in the original set, which I think it was what did he come in? I want to say he was in like the late 40s line, maybe like the early 50s line for the elites. But Terry Funk, you know, an absolute icon to have into the collection. So now I've got him as his old school Terry Funk. We've got him as Chainsaw Charlie, and we also have him now as the ECW absolute king of the deathmatch. And to have all three of those, you know, I don't even know. I'm losing words now. I'm trying to find something now. You know, we're grasping at straws. But no, Terry Funk, absolutely one of the greatest ever. Glad to add him into the collection, and glad to have him in this line, continuing to go. You know, that's another thing. There's some guys that we're so blessed to be able to keep getting figures from them. So hopefully Terry Funk, more figures to come. I would like to see if they would do those figures, maybe a couple more. Maybe we get some other tight designs. I know he also did the yellow at one time with like the yellow stripes. I believe he did have even another color at one point. So would be really cool to see those. I mean, at that point, it's just kind of like a repaint, get the same figure again, and I'm sure nobody would be upset getting another Terry Funk. But now we're going on to the man who's cool, cocky, and bad. That is the Honky Tonk Man, looking as only he can. Kind of, almost you'd say Elvis Presley-like, right? No, not that at all. That's not what he was going for. But the Honky Tonk Man here, looking as only he can, and coming with the guitar, coming with his one-piece, you know, suit there, his little outfit that he always used to have on, those colorful outfits, those colorful one-piece, you know, like, I don't even know what you want to call them. I don't want to call it a onesie, but it's kind of like a onesie, you know? So, looking as only he can. Great design on there. Again now, guys, here is my next thing. Greatest hits, right? Now, if you guys tell me if I'm wrong, because I don't know if I am, the only two Honky Tonk Men that I know of in the Elites was the very first one they came out with. He had a red outfit on. The next one was the Retrofest figure, which I believe his outfit was purple. So this one is blue. So again, to say re-release, I don't really know when people say that if they're understanding. Like, to me, it's just not a re-release. This is another figure. This is another attire. This is a different look. So I'm very happy to add this right into the collection. It is my first Honky Tonk Man back in the collection. And with that, you know, in the future here, we are probably going to try to get ourselves that red one again. Probably try to get the Retrofest one. So now we'll have, you know, multiple attires going. And eventually, again, complete all these attires of different guys. I mean, I know it's very tough. I know it's hard. You know, some of these guys like Rey Mysterio, John Cena, even the Hogans. I mean, we can keep going on. Shawn Michaels. There's a lot of guys that just have those countless attires. Macho Man as well. God, if I left the Macho Man out, that would have been terrible. But so many guys, so many, even some of the women. Some of the women have some really awesome changing attires. We don't get them as much because we're not getting the figures as much. But when they do come out, I try to get those as well. And with this, again, you know, just to add another piece to the puzzle, another piece to the collection. And now with the Greg Valentine up on the wall over there, we do have Rhythm and Blues. It's back up and running again, right? So we have to actually probably put him next to Greg Valentine. We might have to move the Jake the Snake out of there. Put old Honky Tonk back up there with him. So, but Honky Tonk is going to wrap up what we have for our figure pickups today in episode 23. With that, guys, moving forward, like I said, we will have a video on the re-releases and kind of a comparison, or how people feel about it. What are we doing with these re-releases? What are we doing with figures that we're calling re-releases, but maybe they're not actually re-released? I don't know. It's like there's just so, I don't know, there's so much common ground in the middle, or there's so much gray in the middle of all of it. So it's really hard to decipher and kind of make a line in the sand, if you will, in a situation like this. Also, the next thing is going to be the Jakks Classic Superstars video versus the Mattel Legends video. And I think that video will be a really, really good one. I think you guys are going to like that once it's done. And I just think it's one of those things where people who have only collected maybe in this era of figures might have a different aspect of opinion versus the people that, like myself, grew up with Jakks Classic Superstars from day one. I'll never forget the first Jakks Classic Superstars figure I got. Series 1 Shawn Michaels. And oh man, I still remember the day that ponytail fell out. Oh, I was sick. I was sick to my stomach when that thing fell off. But thankfully, my mother was there with some super glue. We got it back on, and I think that was a common thing with Jakks figures. The ponytails were always falling off. We always had to super glue them back on. I think I had a couple Triple H's that looked like he would look 20 years down the road. I was predicting the future. Back in the day, you could say, cutting those ponytails off or removing them. You could say I was trying to, really give a new era vibe to the locker room, and yeah, something like that, right? But guys, as always, I appreciate you all being here for this episode 23 of Figure Pickups. It's crazy to think we're on episode 23. It's crazy to think that we will probably be on episode 50 before we know it, and then before we know it, it'll be episode 100. But with that, I appreciate you all for sticking with me through this. We've also gone over 500 subscribers, so thank you again, guys, to all of you. We may be doing another figure giveaway on the channel very soon. I'll probably be doing some figure giveaways on Facebook as well, so if you guys want to check out the description to this video, you can find all my other places where you could find Matt's Wrestling Collectibles, whether that be MERCARI, check out the store. We've got Matt's Wrestling Collectibles on Facebook, which it's also not just the main page where I kind of put my business stuff, but as well as the group page where everybody can join that, interact freely, buy, sell, trade. You can have yourself a great time on there, always seeing new things, and even stuff I haven't seen before. So a great place to be, and especially if you are in, in this passion through and through. So if you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor, hit the like button on it. It helps me out tremendously. It boosts me in this YouTube algorithm. It puts me up in the feed. It helps me out a lot. And as well, if you haven't already, get over to the page, get over to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and you will continue to get all these videos. And yeah, guys, so again, Matt's Wrestling Collectibles, Matt here for us all. And this is episode 23, Figure Pickups. Thanks for being with me. Stay tuned for the next video. I will see you all there.